Content Hub is the module that provides the connection from our Drupal content to the Lift Experience Builder interface. Once you've configured the module appropriately, Drupal content creators can simply continue to build and save entities as they always have, with no changes to their current workflow. The entities they've created will then be usable with an Experience Builder. After receiving access to Lift Profile Manager and configuring the Acquia Lift module on your website, it's time to configure Content Hub to work. This is the last step before we're ready to create personalizations with Acquia Lift. This guide assumes you are using the Acquia Content Hub Drupal module for your personalization. Let's start by looking at the submodules for Content Hub. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will only be concerned with the Acquia Content Hub module. The diagnostic tool provides diagnostics about known issues between your site and Content Hub, while the subscriber and status modules are used for syndication with Content Hub. With the Content Hub module installed, let's connect to Content Hub from your website. Go to Admin, Configuration, Web Services, Acquia Content Hub. Fill out the credentials provided from your Lift Profile Manager account. The client name is arbitrary, and it will need to be defined by you. Note that this value is very important to configuration of your website, and it's a part of how Content Hub tracks the origin of the content it consumes from your website. The client name should be unique per environment and the site that you are working on. Save the form and notice that the origin value gets generated. If you see no errors, Content Hub has been connected properly. Once an origin value has been generated, be sure to store it and the client name value together in code per environment and site to ensure that your origin values are always set correctly. You can see an example of a settings.php file here, which incorporates the Lift module and Content Hub module configuration settings in a single switch case statement. Because Content Hub updates and syncs content based on entity UUIDs, after you've tested your site in dev or staging, we generally recommend a purge to remove all existing entities from Content Hub. Content Hub will not allow an already existing entity to be updated from a different origin, so you will run into issues if the same entities are published from multiple environments. Once you are using Content Hub in production, we generally recommend turning off the modules in lower environments to prevent any further issues with this. After connecting to Content Hub, we need to answer the question of whether we want this site to receive updates from Content Hub. This is commonly used for syndication, but can be useful for debugging when setting up personalization. If we want to enable this, follow the next steps. Select the Webhooks tab, check the box to receive webhooks, and save the form. By receiving webhooks, you are giving a URL on your website at which the Content Hub service will ping to alert it of new entities or updates to existing entities for syndication. But they will also provide watchdog log messages if there are any problems with entities published into Content Hub. Note that it's very important that this URL endpoint is accessible to anonymous users, or Content Hub will not work. That means that it's much easier to work with Content Hub directly on a server versus locally. If you do need to work with Content Hub on a local machine, you must use an HTTP tunnel like ngrok. Now, on to selecting the entities we want to use for personalization. Select the Entity Configuration tab and scroll down the page. Select Publish next to the entities to use for Lift. When you select Publish, entities with view modes that can be used for Lift will also show a Publish View Modes multi-select that allows you to select the display modes that will be available to personalize on in Lift. Whenever nodes of the entity types you've selected on the screen are created or saved, Content Hub will ingest the CDF of the entity and the rendered HTML of the view modes you've selected as well. The CDF of your entity exists on a route within Drupal, and like the webhook, needs to be accessible to anonymous users to work. CDF stands for Common Data Format and is an array representation of each of your entities stored in Content Hub. Any entity with a display mode will be available to use for personalization in Experience Builder. Finally, let's talk about the best Drupal entities to use with Experience Builder. When personalization occurs on a website, Lift is swapping the default HTML provided by Drupal on your site with the static HTML consumed by Content Hub based on the entity view modes we selected earlier. That means Lift works great with static, structured content within your Drupal site, including nodes, paragraphs, and blocks with display modes. If you plan to use paragraphs within Lift, you can either associate the paragraph to a block or a node, or use the paragraph directly in Lift. If you use it directly, you'll need to add an alter hook to your theme or custom module to set the title of the paragraphs in Experience Builder. Note that there are API examples bundled with the Content Hub module that allow you to modify the CDF markup before and after Content Hub ingests this data from your website. If you would like to work with custom block types, be sure to set the template of your block appropriately in your theme directory, so the Content Hub CDF has the correct markup for your personalization. Suggestion hooks in your theme are not automatically picked up by Content Hub. I hope you found the information in this tutorial helpful. For next steps, please see Creating Personalized Experiences with Acquia Lift. Thanks for watching.